Hi, everybody. I want to pop in and talk about the energy this week. We have a lot of really intense things going on this week. So, there's some really large energies at play that I want to talk to you about for just a minute. And, last week we talked about that Aquarius full moon that came through with the North Node in Aries, helping us understand who we are, how we want to show up in the world. And this week we actually have a new moon in Leo coming up, which I'm hoping is going to help balance out some of the energies because this month we're sandwiched between two full moons. We had the full moon in Aquarius, and then we're going to have a full moon in Pisces happening later this month. And we don't usually get two full moons in one month. So that all by itself is a huge amount of energy that we're working with. Add to that, we've got the Lionsgate portal, which is August 8th coming up. And for a lot of people, that is a very expansive time, a time of helping us move into a more expanded, more truer, if you want to say higher version of ourselves. I don't like to use words like higher because there's really no such thing, but just a version of ourselves that definitely is more aligned with who we truly, truly are. And that can be quite an experience to have that going on. We have Venus in retrograde again, and in fact, we've got 4 planets in retrograde right now. I'm trying to remember, I don't remember all of them, so I wrote them down. So it's Venus, Pluto, Saturn, and Neptune, and then Mercury goes into retrograde later this month on the 24th. So that's a lot of planets in retrograde, which means you could be feeling a whole plethora of things right now. And I want to talk about a few of those things. You could be coming into the space where you are recognizing more fully who you are and how you want to show up in the world. That Aries North Node energy is still in effect and will be for quite some time now. So all of these movements, planetary wise, can really have a great impact on whatever's going on with you. Always like to let you know I am not an astrologer. I can tell you though, with all of my years of doing intuitive work, that it always lines up, and so I do now talk about astrology. If you want to know how these planets in retrograde are impacting you directly, or how the North Node is impacting you and the South Node, and how the moons are impacting you, it's always good to link up with an astrologer because it varies depending on what's going on with you individually in your chart. Generally speaking, though, from an energetic level, I can tell you that all of us are going to be experiencing a large amount of energy for the next few weeks as we navigate through this time. And that energy is, yes, around us figuring out who we are. And depending on where you're at in that process, it can feel very expanded, very expansive, like you're finally moving into this next place. And it's a more expanded place. And so now maybe you're working with getting calibrated to that, which means that it could be a good time for you to slow down a little bit, pay attention to what's going on with yourself, and figuring out where you now can show up as your best self. How can you now shine? That Leo new moon is going to help you with that. Leo energy is kind of about that. If you know any Leos, you know they usually stand out. They like to shine. So if you are in that place, that's a wonderful place to be in. So it's a good time to begin to think about that in your career, in your interpersonal relationships, in your hobbies, things, whatever it is that you're doing in your life right now, your life work. Maybe you're reaching a new place of being able to show up in a way that you've not shown up before, that is more expanded, more light, more true, more all of those things, and allows you to shine in a whole different way. Now, there are some other things that could be happening if you are going through this expansive energy. Sometimes there can be some resistance to that because it's new, it's different. It can feel wobbly and uncertain and unsure. And that can create some issues for you physiologically, to be honest with you. I will say, if you are experiencing any physical sensations in your body that are unfamiliar to you, that you don't know, it's a good idea to check with your medical professional. And also know that even if there's something along those lines, or if you find out there's nothing going on physically, that this just could be your body learning to integrate this new space and this new energy. And so my recommendation, and from what I've seen in the past when working with myself and others, is when you are experiencing some sort of sensation, an emotional sensation, a physical sensation, it's a good idea to slow down, stop, sit with that. Just sit with it. If it's a feeling, a sensation, an emotion, a discomfort, it's going to be more beneficial for you to sit with that because it's information. is really what that is. So you can just sit with that information and see what maybe it's telling you, because that's all it is. But if you're not getting full information, that is okay. Being present with it and just acknowledging that it is there is often enough. And over time, you'll be able to get full information about what that is. So I want to encourage you to do that instead of what might be your tendency to seek out other comforts to engage in, instead of sitting with yourself and giving yourself that time to honor and show yourself proper attention. We sometimes want to turn to things like binge watching TV, eating food, drinking, drugs, all kinds of things that we can turn to actually avoid being present with what's happening inside of us. And if you have a tendency to do those things, it's not something to judge yourself about. It's just something to recognize and understand that it's your way of trying to protect yourself, but also understand that it's not going to help you, even though it seems in the short term that it is. Whatever it is you're avoiding isn't going to just go away. It's still going to be there unless and until you're ready to take the time to be with it and allow it to be present in your experience and in your conscious awareness. So that could be happening for you. You may be feeling this urge to really slow things down depending on how those retrograde planets are playing out for you. So just listen to what your spirit is telling you to do. I always suggest that you just listen to your body, listen to what the divine is guiding you to do, and follow that. It doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. It matters what the divine is asking of you to do. And if you'll do that and just sit with those things and trust, then, and you know, sometimes trust can be a challenge. And that's another theme that's in operation right now, is trust. Trust of anything beyond ourselves really starts with how we trust ourselves internally. And that is built by showing up for yourself, by sitting with the discomfort to allow it to speak to you, by listening to what your emotional body is telling you, by listening to what your physical body is telling you, and not necessarily having all the answers, but just allowing yourself to be available to it is the way that you will develop trust within yourself. And as you learn how to trust yourself and you know that you're going to take care of yourself, then you will also know that you can trust yourself with others, because trusting them is not really about trusting what they will or will not do. It's about trusting that you will know how to properly respond to whatever they will or will not do. And that starts with having trust within ourselves. So I want to encourage you this week to spend time with yourself, listen to what yourself is telling you. Believe and feel coming out of that South Node in Libra, and just being more true to who we really are is a beautiful thing. It's a process, and sometimes it can feel like a challenging process because it's new to us. It's something that maybe we've not done before, or we didn't even know was possible that we could do. And it's shifting, right? Because as you change and grow and expand, that means that the things externally will change and grow and expand. That includes your interpersonal relationships, maybe what you're doing for work, or what you think your life purpose is, or how you show up in your friendships, your family. All of those things can begin to change and morph as you do. And that is perfectly fine. And the discomfort that can come with it is fine. It's just a matter of being honest about it and allowing it to reveal what it's wanting to reveal for us in any given moment. And as always, showing ourselves that love and compassion that we need and deserve to give ourselves as we move through these seasons in our lives. Yeah, so if you have any questions on any of that, feel free to put something in the comments. I am me. I will respond to you as I can. And as always, I hope you're having a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon, whatever time of day it is for you. Have a great week, and may you ever live inspired. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye.